We're going. Hey, yeah.
Sorry.
Live. It's happening, dude. It's TV, man.
Okay, you ready?
We're on. You're on.
Hey, Rob Brown here.
Fired up.
We are broadcasting live up here, Fayetteville, Arkansas, home of the University of Arkansas, at the Sigma Newhouse up here. What a view! I got to tell you, this might be the best location ever. They are literally, you could throw a boulder, a 10-pound rock across the street and hit the stadium. It's going to be fun today. Dudley Dawson, Hogville.net's going to check in with us. Doug Dean from Birmingham, Frank Duffy from North Georgia, Mr. LSU. Go Tigers! I believe the chancellor of the University of Arkansas is going to come by and say hello, get a chance to talk to him about what's going on in college athletics, the House settlement, what are we going to do to find all this money. But, hey, I can tell you this. We are in the northwest corner of Arkansas. The Walton family, their influence up here is felt everywhere. In fact, Audrey and I are going to make a pilgrimage today to the prototype Walmart store of the future in Bentonville, Arkansas. It's Fayetteville, Springdale, Rogers, Bentonville. Folks, if you haven't been up here, your head will spin. This is cool. Let's get going. Smash the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. Allow notifications on your Android and iPhone. Get pen and paper handy because class is in session on Sidelines.
Sidelines with Rob Brown. Talk sporty to me.
Well, Rob, Mr. Brown, turn your mic on. One ding for you, Mr. Rob.
Testing, 1, 2.
Everyone's on. Rob.
Hello.
Yeah. I am here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Testing.
I'm looking here for us right now.
Hi, Rob.
Do you see me? I don't see me on the screen.
We hear you and we see you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking here on the camera. Let me make sure I've got this thing working.
You're good, though.
You had one job.
Yeah. Let's see here.
He can't see us right now. We can all play.
Yeah, I can't see. I cannot.
I can't. Roger that. Houston.
Okay. Let's get going. Rob Brown up here in Fayetteville today, and we're broadcasting from the Sigma Newhouse, across from Reynolds Razorback Stadium. Dudley Dawson's going to check in with us from Hogville.net, and Doug Dean, Frank Duffy on with us. Brendan, executive producer down in Ocala, Florida, at Central Command. Dudley, if you're with us right now, I'm just going to keep you on here for about 15 minutes or so. Wanted to get your thoughts real quick on this Arkansas, Tennessee.
Dudley dropped off, so I don't know where he went. He was here, but he's gone.
Okay, we'll work on that. But
wait, now he's back. Here he's back. Okay. He's back now. Dudley Dawson.
Yeah,
welcome back, Dudley.
Yeah, Tennessee. Here we go. I'm seeing me now, and I don't see anybody else. But Dudley, I want to get your thoughts on the Tennessee-Arkansas game for tomorrow because the Hogs. It's been a frustrating season. You're up 21-0. At Oklahoma State and don't win that game. Last week you have a lead and then don't win against Texas A&M, lose 21-17, I think. But now that game is going to be played on campus next year. Much better situation. But let's get your thoughts on what's happening here tomorrow between the Vols and the Razorbacks.
Well, Arkansas is a better football team than it was last year. But still not
I don't see Dudley, and I hope he can come.
Yeah, he's here, Rob. We can't see him, but we're all here.
Yeah, we can hear him and see him. Yep.
Go ahead, Dudley.
Well, first of all, I bet it's not the first time you haven't seen something at a fraternity house.
It's a beautiful location. I can tell you that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that Arkansas is a better football team than it was last year, but I don't think it's good enough to take Tennessee this week. weekend. I know that poor Taylor Green, who is a fantastic athlete, trying to become a polished quarterback, probably has nightmares of James Pierce Jr. scrambling after him, pressuring him this weekend, and I'm sure that's what's going to happen. He may not catch Taylor because Taylor can run away from him once he starts scrambling, but that defensive line of Tennessee's and the offensive line of Arkansas, I think is where the match is going to be decided, and one of those is considerably better than the other.
Yeah, and Dudley, the Tennessee has had one road game, and that was at Oklahoma. Nico Iamaleava went out there and fought the Fighting Venables. They win 25-15. Ironically, that's the only time in Josh Heupel's career they're now 1-12 in games when they don't score 30 or more points. What's Tennessee going to have to do against Arkansas tomorrow to get a win, and what's Arkansas going to have to do to get the win against Tennessee?
Well, I'll start with Arkansas first. I mean, clearly they would be 5-0 if they didn't have the turnovers. They would be able to have the state buzzing and all that instead of questioning if it's the same old from the past couple of seasons. But yeah, turnovers are the biggest key. And Taylor Green, who has done some fantastic things at quarterbacks and also done some things that make you go, what is he thinking? He has to have a good game. He has to be able to make not only the great passes on difficult throws, but the easy ones. It's been the easy throws that seem to have sailed on him and caused issues. And obviously, Arkansas has to be able to run the football. They got a great tailback now who transferred from Utah, Jaquindon Jackson. Rodney Hill from Florida State is going to be out this weekend, according to the new injury report. But you are getting Rashad Dominion back. So Rashad Dominion's got to see some carries, get some yards for Arkansas to have a chance.
We lost Rob's audio.
Whoa, yeah. Frank, Doug, if you can, jump in with Dudley or Frank, because I know you've got questions on this matchup.
Yeah, Dudley, first of all, I have with me, I saw Coach Freeze yesterday, and I have a prepared statement from Hugh to Coach Pittman. Dear Sam, I sincerely apologize for suggesting that we would beat you 9 out of 10 times. That was the heat of the moment, and you are running a fine program. Yours truly, Coach Freeze. No, I'm seriously.
Wait, was there a PS? I just got another 5-star or star or whatever.
Yeah.
Listen, I did want to congratulate Sam Pittman and in his own right, Bobby Petrino. That they did what they had to do to give themselves a chance in that game. And the formula this year, if we're honest, which is painful for Auburn people, maybe that'll change. It's a tough place to go try to change that in Athens this Saturday. But Auburn, if you just hang around and don't try anything too fancy yourself, Auburn will find a way to implode. So they got to change that narrative. On the other hand, Auburn is sitting at, depending on the service you look at, 3, 4, mostly at 5th ranked in recruiting, right there with Georgia, Alabama, LSU. So the pipeline is restored, the one that was severed by Brian Harsin, and the foundation of high school talent. And I look for Auburn in the offseason to be really laying some money on the line with NIL. But I wanted to ask you, Dudley, after that Hugh Freeze fake apology, are the Arkansas fans as upbeat about this offense and its progression and development under Petrino as it feels to me from the outside?
Well, I'm going to say no. They would have. If you asked them at the halftime of the Oklahoma State game, they would have said absolutely. If you ask them after halftime of the Texas A&M game, they're back to it being the same old. And the problem is, Arkansas got out and made a big play with Isaac Tesla there early on. Had the fake punt. Everything was going well, as it usually does early down in Arlington, Texas. I will only be attending Cowboy games now from now on, since he's going back to campuses. But I would maybe Post Malone concerts, WWE things. But I just think that they were optimistic. And after the Oklahoma State game, they thought, well, maybe things are coming together. And they do believe in Bobby. Don't get me wrong. I do believe in Bobby. It's just a situation that they've lost so many one-score games that it is likely to cost him his job because of these one-score games.
You can fix that tomorrow, and you're right. Not that that's an easy assignment, but it's in Fayetteville.
One-score game tomorrow.
I mean, I'm really high on Tennessee, and that, to me, they're not getting talked about enough I don't even call them a dark horse. They look awfully good, but they're in the discussion with 3 or 4 other teams. Even Georgia, that loss Saturday really didn't hurt Georgia, other than they're not playing with house money now. But if Kentucky can go into Oxford and beat that roster that Kiffin's got, I'm not ready to say Arkansas has no chance. The heck they do. Absolutely they do. But we're going to find out more about Tennessee as well. Frank, I think you had something.
Well, I was just going to say, I agree. Arkansas is just a couple of plays going the other way from being 5-0. I mean, that Oklahoma State game, I thought that was in the bag. And look, they always play Texas A&M. I know they haven't beaten Texas A&M a lot since Texas A&M's come into the conference, but that game at Jerry World always is a knockdown drag out. So I think Arkansas, honestly, I think Pittman has done really well in these 5 games, in my opinion, and with Petrino. Now,
yeah,
Michael,
I think they're better than what they were last year. But we'll go back to Texas A&M. You have one win in 4,375 days against Texas A&M.
Correct. Yeah, correct. But you've always played them tough. My concern for Arkansas this week, though, is you got Josh Heupel, who's had 14 days to prepare. So I think you're going to see some really great offense on Saturday. I think the over is going to get shattered. I think we're going way over 57. And of course, where Arkansas again has the disadvantage with Tennessee having 14 days off, when LSU comes to play y'all in 2 weeks, y'all will have the advantage with the 14 days. What's going to be interesting though is if Arkansas is sitting at 3-3, Pittman has to keep that locker room. How do you see the locker room? Because I know these kids would go through a brick wall for Sam Pittman. I know certainly the last couple of seasons. What do you see now? And is there any sort of kind of, just lurking in the shadows with Petrino, what might happen, down the line? I mean, does Pittman still have control of that locker room?
This year he does. Last year I didn't think he did because of Dan Enos. The Dan Enos experience did not work out well at all. He really lost the offense, and not only figuratively but literally. And I think that they're in a situation now where they've gone out and got the right guys during the transfer portal. They've meshed well in terms of liking each other and wanting to play together. That was not the case last year. As I've said on the Rob show here many times, it was a cluster, an absolute cluster last year in terms of the locker room. And NIL factored in there as well. How you can not have so much NIL money and still become a problem boggles my mind. But I do think that, and for your other question, Bobby Petrino, they do love him here. But here's what I think, or at least here's what I'm hearing. It doesn't matter what I think. Here's what I'm hearing from people who pull the purse strings and all that. If this season doesn't go well, it will be a clean sweep. And because if it didn't go well, then Bobby didn't.
Wow.
So,
Wow. So he's not going to be lurking.
Yeah,
he's not going to be lurking. He'll be gone.
Yeah, but I think there was, whether it was said out loud or not, it was you're coming in here to rescue Sam Pittman, to rescue the Arkansas football program, but we're not promising you anything. Yeah. And I think that's just right. And there's so many people who want just to turn the page and have a complete switcheroo, although I do think that there would be a groundswell for the defensive coaches and for them to, whoever is hired, to bring Bobby back. But
it makes
like a
sorry, Dudley, finish your thought. Yeah, that makes sense to me because, and it's a ticklish situation because Arkansas fans don't have to go very far back to see that Bobby Petrino as a head coach brought a lot of glory there compared to their recent history. They've certainly had great years if you go back enough decades, but a couple or 10 or 20 years, especially that team that had those fantastic running back, Houston Nutt. But I think what I've had a question about going into the season for really more Bobby Petrino than Arkansas specifically is the question: is Petrino's masterful offensive system, have defensive strategies somewhat rendered it outdated? Has he modernized it enough to deal with what you're going to get from defenses these days? And of course, going with that is, do you have enough of the skill players and O-line and a quarterback that can make the system work? So players win games. And so if you get a season where you've lost, I don't know, 5 or 6 games, I don't think Arkansas fans are happy with that. And if you're going to fire Pittman, but your offense has been underwhelming, why would you promote the very guy who caused the offensive problem? So I agree. Clean sweep is lurking out there more likely than than Petrino moving in as head coach.
Yeah, I think Sam, Coach Pittman is a great dude. And wish you
love the
well.
guy.
I don't think it's, if I'm sitting here being honest, which Rob knows I love to be and objective about it, I just don't think it's going to work out at the end of the year. If it does, then congratulations to all of them. But you've got guys like Rhett Leslie, who's from Northwest Arkansas, played at Arkansas, who's doing well from SMU. You got G.J. Kinney from Texas State, who, are some of the names. And there was plenty of others. The Indiana coach is fantastic. I don't know.
What will Arkansas pay for an elite head coach, do you think, Dudley?
Well, we just found out last spring that they will pay a lot for a basketball coach, and I'm sure that the right people will sell.
Is there any money left?
Sell enough chicken nuggets and do what needs to be done to get a football coach here. I don't think that's going to be a problem. They're not going to break the bank, but they're not going to be undersold because.
Fantastic. I think with NIL, Arkansas, there's no reason it can't be a great program and contend, because NIL, that you can go anywhere you want and buy a roster. It doesn't, this notion of the natural geographical recruiting base is sort of irrelevant now.
Boy, if the Waltons and the Tysons can't buy it, nobody can buy it.
Yeah. Dudley.
And here's the deal. Here's the deal. People are willing to give money, whether it be through the Arkansas Edge, Razorback Edge, if you win. But they'll hold off. If they're not. I think the reason Coach Pitt was still coaching here this year was because his buyout was $16 million. last year. I actually went on a walk with the wife, expecting to come back to having to go on a coaching church. But that's too much, and it goes down to $6 million. And that's when things start spinning around here. I was once told by a rich guy that I don't just throw money away. And I told him, as a poor guy, I don't either. I understand the concept, but that would have been throwing money away last year. Were basically what some of the boosters are telling.
Yeah, we're going to bring in Dudley, guys. The chancellor of the University of Arkansas is going to come join us for just a couple of minutes, and I want to kind of get. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to him. Jim McClellan, our friend, knows him quite well, and the Tysons have been supportive of everything, including the Sigma Nu chapter up here. They have this house, which is across the street from the football stadium here, Reynolds Razorback Stadium. It's just really incredible. This is Dr. Charles Robinson's going to come over here, and guys, I think I'm going to ask him a few questions and then just get his thoughts about what's going on. And Dudley and Frank and Doug, just kind of bear with us for a minute about what's going on in intercollegiate athletics, because he is a president, knows what is happening. Hey, Rob Brown, nice to meet you. Yeah, sit down with us, and let's get your thoughts, if you could, real quick. We do a podcast called SEC Sideline Sports Network, SECU, the Buddy Martin Show, Best Fridays in Football with Buddy Martin and Urban Meyer, and my executive producer Brendan Martin's down in Ocala, Florida. So we love going out to all the campuses and all. Well, this place is incredible. I'm from Memphis. I'm an Auburn grad in the interest of full disclosure.
Okay.
And
All
I
right.
will not say we will beat you 9 out of 9 times.
I appreciate it.
I'm just saying, hey, you got the win. And I'm a
did.
big Travis Williams fan. I love that guy and Marcus Woodson. I knew them when they were at Auburn. But let's talk about Arkansas, what's going on this campus, and the climate we live in. You got what, 34,000 students up here. This is the Boulder of the South.
Yeah, we're growing. Our actual number is 33,610. You know, chancellors know the number.
Yes, that's right.
And we've grown a lot, and we've got a lot of. We have a record number of Arkansans.
Yeah,
over 16,000 Arkansans. So we're excited about the interest in the university. We think we have a really strong institution academically and socially. Students grow and develop.
Well, I know you got a top 3 or 4 in the country architecture school because I'm an Auburn grad. Architecture is my dad, architect. Arkansas and Auburn every year knocking it out.
Oh, yeah.
And I know Dr. Bill Hardgrave, who was up here 17 years, who went to Auburn. He's now the president of the University of Memphis. You've got a lot of Memphis kids going to Arkansas now.
Yes.
There used to be like the Berlin Wall to cross the Mississippi, and something happened. What happened to make this place such a destination for so many students from Memphis? Because I think there were 15 SAEs that I knew from Christian Brothers High School in Memphis.
Well, the way you grow is to recruit students. They have a good experience, and then you develop a pipeline, and people they hear word of mouth a lot of times about how great an experience others that they know have had, and that's happened for us over the last decade. Lots of great stories of success. Our graduation rate is the highest it's ever been. And then again, just coming out here, the energy and the opportunity to grow and develop. I think we don't want it to be a secret. And it's getting out that this is a great place to be.
Yeah. Well, and another thing, I'm not going to keep you long because I know you got a busy day. You've probably been up since about 5:30. It's a game weekend.
Yeah.
Right now, you've got NIL, you've got the portal. Yeah. There's so many things going on. You seem like the people's president, that you walk around campus and talk to the students, which is, we had heyday when I was at Auburn. Hey, y'all. I mean, I'm sure you do something like that because I live in Memphis. Our hunting club's in Parkin, Arkansas. Yeah. We got a lot of Razorbacks over there. Sure. Razorback pride is a big-ass deal. It's a big deal. Damn big. Proud state. Yeah, yeah. Talk about your efforts to get people and say, look, it's a tough grind. Yeah. You know, stick with us. But there'll be 78,000 here tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Razorback Nation is very loyal, very proud of the program, very supportive. And we just keep going. You know, we keep going, working together, doing the best we can to be successful at everything that we do.
Yeah. Well, you got John Calipari coming in. I can tell you, living in Memphis, when he was there, he lived right next door to Bishop Stibe for the Catholic Diocese, and he knew where to live. And he was everywhere in Memphis. Yeah. And his agent, Jimmy Sexton, worked on the 5th floor when I worked on the 6th floor at Regents Morgan Keegan. So I'd see him out there a lot. He loves being around people. What's it been like with him so far?
Oh, he's been great. He's really come to the community, embraced it. People have embraced him. But you know, here, once you put on that hog, you're one of us, and we are very supportive of our coaches and our leadership. And so, again, just very proud and honored to be the chancellor here at a great university.
You've got some big time businesses up here. J.B. Hunt, the Tysons, the Waltons. What's it like working with them? I mean, I don't know them, but I see the effects of what they do.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great because they're great to work with. They love the university. Yeah. They embrace us. They support us. Yeah. And we couldn't be what we are without their support.
Yeah. Well, you look like on this campus, it's a big campus. Engineering school. I know Jim McClellan is really big on that. Yeah. 4,600 students in the College of Engineering. The Walton College of Business. That's a magnet. It's like flypaper. What do you want to tell people? And I just a couple more questions. Right now, everybody's worried about NIL, the portal, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we've been through crisis before. The free market will work it out. That's what I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. we will work it out. We will play college sports, and most of our college sports aren't really affected by NIL. It's the revenue producing sports. But this will transition to something that we all grow accustomed to and are able to manage better as we progress.
How long have you been the chancellor here at the University?
I've been here chancellor 3 years. I've been at the university for 25, though I came here as an assistant professor.
What did you teach?
In history, American history.
I love it. I love it.
That's right.
Are you a lawyer too?
No, I'm not a lawyer, but I have studied the law. So,
So where are you from?
Houston, Texas. I don't
Okay.
tell that to me. You know, you're from Texas. You don't talk about that too much in Arkansas.
That is a rivalry on another level.
Oh my goodness, yes. And so I just want everyone to know that I've been adopted by this state, and so my Texas origins are not my fault. They're just my problem, right? So I'm an Arkansas. I'm a Razorback, and we're gonna go get them when they come here.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, I got to tell you, it's rare. We go to a lot of campuses, but to have the chancellor come out and talk to us says a lot about you. That you are, hey man, I'm here for y'all.
Well, when Jim McClellan calls, I answer. I mean, it's just that simple. And Rob, I wanted to meet you, and of course, appreciate you being here and talking about the university.
Hey, look, I've got a lot of hog friends that are listening right now, and they love this place, and you can see why.
Yeah, absolutely.
But God, I mean, did the Chamber of Commerce get together with God and make this weather?
Well, we made sure the weather would be right for you when you got here.
All right, what's your last message to any other fans of any other schools out there that are going, I can't take it anymore, the NIL, the portal, I'm not going to take it anymore. You have been here before. You've been here 28 years, okay? People come, they go. We always think, oh, it's the worst it's ever been. Give us a little quick pep talk, and I'll let you go about the future.
I'm an American historian. America, the nation has been through a lot of crises.
Yep.
We always make it through.
Yep.
And people just have to believe and keep working on it, and we will get to a better place. So I'm optimistic. Glass is always half full for me because we're in the greatest country in the world, and we'll work it out.
That's how I close my show every day. I say, we live in the greatest country in the history of the world. We're the most blessed people.
Absolutely.
Go out and bless others. Man, you're awesome.
Hey, man.
Thank you.
Enjoyed meeting you.
This is cool getting to have a chancellor on. You're the first.
Okay, well, great.
You and Dr. Hardgrave.
Okay.
Hey,
First
Rob.
in the SEC.
Oh, yeah. I know Hargrave. He's a good guy.
Yeah. Hold on. Doug, go ahead. You got a question?
Yeah, Rob, a quick question before the chancellor take. Great stuff. Love hearing your vision of what y'all are doing.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Love hearing your vision of what y'all are doing. I have a real pragmatic question. Is there a high-end Italian restaurant in Fayetteville that Coach Cal can go get him a big plate of pasta and meatballs?
I cannot call out names of restaurants. I mean, I can't endorse anybody. The only thing I endorse is the University of Arkansas. That's it.
You're a smart man.
I cannot call out names. And all of our restaurants in Northwest Arkansas are good. So
absolutely, that's funny.
You can't make a mistake. Just choose any one of them.
We ate at Emilio's last night. That was incredible.
Absolutely.
On Dixon Street.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I have one thing I want to say. I am I'm a proud alumnus of the University of Arkansas. Obviously, they try to be objective about sport programs, but I was gonna go scorch earth and burn the place down if they didn't hire you. And I'm just so proud of what you've done. So proud of this university and the steps that it's taken forward in so many things. And just I'm not fawning, but I just want to tell you that I have great respect for you, and I look forward to continuing to see what you do with the university.
Well, I appreciate it. Again, I've been embraced by this university and by this state, and I feel very honored and humbled to be in this role. So thank you for your kind words. All right, thank you. Hey, man, appreciate you.
Same here. You bet.
Okay.
Looking forward to being back. Guys, that's fun, getting to talk to a chancellor at an SEC school, and he loves his job, and we're so blessed to be up here with Jim McClellan and his wife Pat. And we did eat at Emilio's last night, and let's see if we can get a shot of.
Rob, one other thing, I've been up here so long, I've gone through so many of these guys that admin that have not had have not been able to see what sports can do for a university. He gets it. I'm just very proud of everything that's gone on. I'm still a University of Arkansas alumnus at heart, whether I criticize their sports teams or not.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was so kind to come over here. Jim and Pat McClellan, I told you we went and met with them in Little Rock back in April, and just what they do. And people love this school, and you can translate that or transfer that to every SEC campus. But man, this is a special place.
It is a special setting. It really
Yeah.
is there. It's just
It
gorgeous.
it really is. And so, I mean, Dudley, look, hey, Dudley, I'm going to call you after the show. Audrey and I are heading up to the prototype Walmart. She's got to make her pilgrimage to see it. Again, that's like a Catholic going to the Vatican for her. So I'm going to call you. Maybe you can meet us for lunch today if you're available. And I appreciate you staying on here along with us, because I'm going to need a tour guide when I get up there, but I'm going to call you at about 5 minutes after the show if you're available. But let people know how they can follow you and all the great work you do at hogville.net.
There it is. Hogville.net is we cover every one of the Arkansas sports. Try to do a great job with them. Try to be fair about it, objective. I think I'm going to use the word fawn again. Try not to fawn over everything. Try to bring you a realistic approach and what's really happening instead of what you want to hear is happening.
Yeah.
And also, fearlessfriday.com. I'm still doing my high school stuff as well, because you know how I love the high school. I think for everything gets going, sports wise. And then I am presently on my Twitter handle, which is Dead Sports. I am offering tips to St. Louis Cardinal owners about what they should do with their baseball program over the winter.
You have the patience of Job, man.
Yeah.
Hey, proud native son of Newport, Arkansas, farmed in Balch down in the Delta, great Arkansan. Dudley, I'll talk to you here shortly. Thank you.
Dudley, good luck against the Vols tomorrow.
And Dudley, don't forget, in 2 weeks we come up, you better get a lot of security around Tusk. We like our Couchons delays, so make sure you've got security.
Hey, I'm going to get all three of you guys in the tunnel walk with me one of these days.
I love it.
Morgan thing. So.
Hey,
Let's go. Let's go.
I'd love to do it, man. All right, guys, I'm going to tell you what, right now it's a football weekend. It's week 31, 7, 14, 28, 5. This is week 6. Wow, 31, 7, 14, 21. Week 6 already.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and Frank, I want to ask you something. You were, real quick, you were up in East Tennessee with the Cajun Navy, trying to help those people up there. And Doug and I have been reading your comments. Let's let our viewers know if they want to help. And I don't know who doesn't. Those people up there are going through a living hell.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's like watching Mama's Family reruns nonstop.
It's heartbreaking, and to see the response of our federal government is disgusting, and to then not have the responders, us volunteers, to have to now jump through hoops to get there to help people. It's ridiculous. So I went up 2 days ago to help unload. The Cajun Navy, for everybody to know, is a rescue group out of Louisiana who has a lot of experience with rescuing people during hurricanes. No. And so when there's a natural disaster in other places of the country, as a way to pay back those people who helped us out during Katrina, the Cajun Navy will beat feet with horses, mules, swamp buggies, airboats, John boats, pirogues, whatever it takes to go into an area. So they went up there with horseback and to go and actually ferry supplies into the mountains. And so this was 2 days ago. So I went up because they had a call for volunteers. How ironic, state of Tennessee. So I went up with my truck and my son to go unload the supplies that were being flown up on 5 to 6 airplanes. But when Biden was up there, they shut down air traffic for 4 hours just so he could take a look. And so for 4 hours, we couldn't get supplies in. So they had to ground the planes in Louisiana. And then yesterday, then the federal government steps in, Buttigieg steps in and says, we can't transport anything up here until you get the okay from us. So sitting on the tarmac, I'm so infuriated by this. Sitting on the tarmac in Louisiana are 5 to 6 plane loads of supplies and food. We were going to bring it up, distribute it into the mountains, and then actually set up a Louisiana cook area to cook jambalaya so that the people, if they could make it there, could come in and get food to take it back. And we're not allowed to do it. I'm praying today. I've already, this morning, I've left a message before I got on with the show with the director of the Cajun Navy to find out if they're going to open up the opportunity for us to get up there, and then I can drive up there with my truck, because we need to get it from the airport to where the bivouac is to get it to the people.
Well, some of these tragedies are the magnitude of the tragedy. This was true of Katrina.
No doubt.
It calls for forgetting about bureaucratic policies, and with a theme of people threatening to arrest people who came there to help. They need more. Yeah, there's danger and risk, but by God, these people, the dead need treating. And I don't even want to repeat the horrific stories I've heard about how that's going to be managed. So we need to rise up and take our country back.
I agree, and help these people out.
And
guys,
the local sheriffs couldn't have been better in Greenville, Tennessee, where we were. They allowed me to park my truck inside the perimeter of the airport so that we could get right to the planes as they came in. They couldn't have been better. I spoke with the lieutenant, the sergeant. They were wonderful. The teachers, that we were going to move it to the high school, so that's where we would cook and that we would house all the supplies to then distribute it. The teachers were there. They couldn't have been more wonderful. There were officers there. It's not local people. The Tennessee people, they thanked us. They had tears in their eyes thanking everybody that was coming up to help. This is federal. This is bullshit from Washington that's going to cause it. And look, let me tell you, it might mean the difference between life and death, because there's medicines that are being shipped up from Louisiana that we need to get the people who need life-saving medicines that they can't get out and nobody can get to them because they're impassable. That's why the mules are so good and the horseback is so good.
I love working animals, and I'm with you. And I know the Tennessee-Arkansas game, I think about all those people in East Tennessee, and I used to go to camp up in Western North Carolina in Brevard and
Bristol, Johnson City. Wonderful.
We'll help them. We got to help them every way we can. And I know football is a distraction. And guys, I want to get into, we've talked a lot about Tennessee and Arkansas. The big games this weekend, the renewal of the Deep South's oldest rivalry. I didn't think I'd ever, see Auburn as a 24.5-point underdog
here's
at Georgia.
Here's the Cajun Navy's calling me. Let me step out.
Okay. All right. Well, Doug,
go ahead with your point, Rob.
Yeah.
Clyde.
That Deep South's oldest rivalry, that's a tough one to have to see as a favorite, as an underdog like that for Auburn. But sometimes when nobody gives you a chance is when you have your best chance. I want your thoughts on Auburn at Georgia, and then we're going to get into Missouri at Texas A&M and Florida, Central Florida, because Florida, you think one thing, and if they win, who knows, is Billy Napier going to save his job? But let's talk about the one between the hedges.
Yeah, and, right now, and Auburn hopes to change this with an influx of talent that Hugh Freeze is really 2 years in now. If he can hang on to this 25 classes, we're getting there. But you can't call Auburn, Georgia a serious top-of-mind rivalry at the moment because Georgia's winning too much.
Yeah.
And kudos to Georgia. I got no hate for the Bulldog Nation. But I think tomorrow, it's a hard one for me to read, and I'll tell you why. Georgia is, I would say, vastly more talented if you study the rosters down to the second and third level. A coach told me that what really makes a difference with programs like Alabama and Georgia, you could name a few others, is when they get to go against a scout team, the quality of that player, their practices are better. They're more realistic. So I think the Carson Beck is probably coming out of that Alabama game feeling sure he'd like to have that last throw back, but he's feeling pretty good about how they got their offense rolling, almost throwing entirely the second half. But I think 24 possibly is a little too many points, but it would be silly to think Auburn, with the way they've been playing and the mistakes they've been making, especially at the QB position, can go into Athens and make it a deep into the fourth quarter game. I'd love to see it. I do think I can tell you this Auburn team, unlike what the national media narrative seems to be, they are not turning against one another. You would think a 2-3 team might, but no, they're close, they're tight. So credit the coaching staff, but you got to start finding some ways to win. I just think tomorrow that's asking a little too much against a very, very good Georgia team. And by the way, a footnote, it was not mentioned, I don't think, on the broadcast, and I don't know if Coach Saban even stopped to think about it. But that pick at the very end of the game to seal the game for Alabama, it also it also saved Kalen DeBoer from breaking Saban's record in 2010 of the biggest blown lead in Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Correct.
It's going to happen. That was a 24-point. This would have had Georgia was down 28 in the first half, so that would have been Kalen DeBoer's fifth game. And Coach DeBoer looks like he really knows what he's doing at this point. And it doesn't matter how you win. They've annexed a huge lead the first half. Defense was optional for Georgia the first half. Defense appeared to be optional for Alabama the second half. So I like Auburn to make some noise for a half or maybe into the three-quarter, but they're not going to have enough horses to hang with Georgia for 4 quarters.
But they're bringing them in, and so they do have a bright future. But, all you ever ask if you're an Auburn or Alabama fan or any fan of these schools, you win every game. That's all we ask. I want to get y'all's thoughts, and Frank, when he comes back in with us, Missouri at Texas, as you call them, Missouri. Are they going to get on a? They don't want to go on a Missouri boat ride, aka Outlaw Josie Wales. But they've got to play out at College Station, and that will be a hostile environment. There'll be a lot of people standing for 3.5, 4 hours. I've got Missouri going in there and punching them in the face, punching them between the eyes, and over and over and over. I've got Missouri winning 34-12.
Missouri has been mysterious, man. You want to like them, and they want to see them. They haven't been dominant, at least a couple of spots. And like I said, Vandy was going to give them a game. They take them to overtime.
Well, I'm going to go contrarian. I had A&M last week over Arkansas. I was the contrarian that week. I think A&M, you got to go back. They had Notre Dame on the ropes. I had Notre Dame in that game, but A&M also could be very easily undefeated. I think Missouri, for them to go in, they've got to be a road warrior, which is normally not Missouri's MO. They do a lot of wins in Columbia. They play a lot better, I think, in Missouri than on the road. So we'll see. But I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a tight game. But and I just joined you guys after you were talking about the Alabama-Georgia game. Let me tell you something. Alabama and Tennessee are the guys that are right behind the corner when you're walking on a desolate street in an urban area and you don't know they're there, and you walk around the corner and then you take back because they're standing there. That's what Tennessee and Alabama look like to me. Holy mackerel. Were they not highly talked about?
Hey,
they
buddy.
were two teams. When you add them with Georgia and with Texas, I'm telling you, we've got 4 or 5 teams I think can make this playoff.
And Ole Miss is. We got to talk about Ole Miss.
Yeah, we're going to get.
Good. I'm going to be fair and balanced. Tell me if I'm derailing your agenda here, Rob. But
no, I'm glad you did that because feel free to walk around the cabin. The signs.
I have my appreciation for Lane Kiffin, especially his offensive mind, has grown over the years. Along with he's got a nice dose of humility. I mean that in a complimentary sense. In giving praise to Mark Stoops. At the end of that day, and you talk about you can call it really gutty, almost to guts in a game moment like 4th and 7 at their own 20 with everything on the line, and Stoops really needing a signature win to get his fan base fired up. Yeah. Man, it was gutty, and sometimes the kind of guts I'm talking about gets as close to insanity as you can. With that, and so Kiffin said after the game, I don't think Mark Stoops has ever made a call like that in his life. Now, a Kentucky fan could take that as insulting. I don't. You love to see leaders and head coaches evolve and adapt and change. He caught hell for not going on 4th down for punting against Georgia. And, when you're playing Georgia, nobody's expecting you to win and you got a chance. Roll the damn dice. So
Yeah.
I thought that was a beautiful take by Kiffin. He said, more power to him. I compliment him. So now I'm telling you, Ole Miss, a theme I've had this year several times is you got to be careful not to let Kentucky beat you twice, Ole Miss.
Yeah.
They're going to Columbia and South Carolina, and that's, if they played 10 times, maybe Ole Miss wins 8, but tomorrow is one game. It'll be fascinating to see how Ole Miss bounces back.
Here's what I think's on trial this weekend. Ole Miss and their portal heavy recruiting. They've got 25 players on the team this year they brought in from the portal. It's hard to gel those guys all instantly. It's not microwave football. And so they're going on the road, and they got lulled to sleep in those first 4 games. They got sucker punched by Kentucky. Yeah, and they weren't ready. So now if they go on the road and Ole Miss, the wheels fall off in Columbia. South Carolina's trying to use this game to validate, hey, we had LSU until we didn't, but we're really good, and Ole Miss is going on the road. They better be going on the road with this mindset. Hey, we really are good. We slipped up last week, but now they're playing already in that desperate role, and y'all are right. Kiffin, his record against teams that finish the season with 9 or more wins, it's 3-20.
Yeah.
That's what he's got to change. Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss have to change that narrative, guys.
And one interesting thing about your point, Rob, is that when you're doing a lot of portal stocking of your team, it really shows up in the line of scrimmage, and especially on the offensive line, which is teamwork. That unit has to work as one, right? And that's where Kentucky manhandled them. Kentucky manhandled that offensive line for Ole Miss. And frankly, Kentucky, their offensive line really played well as well. So Ole Miss lost that game in the trenches. And that's where you need that teamwork that you don't get. And you don't get it 4 weeks in if you're playing patsies, if you're playing Lighthouse of the Blind and Little Pieces of the Floor. Yes. And you saw that. So, and look, let me tell you, as we've said, and I said it before we went to go play it in Columbia, that is a snake pit. And if you're not playing on all cylinders, you're going to hear a sandstorm like I heard until my ears were bleeding. I felt like damn Rocky Top for a while.
Yeah. And no, I agree. I tell you, if I ever win the lottery, I'm going to start a college called Little Sisters of the Poor, and I'm going to offer Nick Saban so much money he comes out of retirement to coach my school, and we're going to kick everybody's ass.
Hey,
that's
guys,
what I think is going to happen.
Listen, I want to be fair to Bama Nation. Sorry about the ambient noise, which is outrageous. And grandkids are beautiful.
This is the Ambient Sideline Sports Network.
It's not even ambient. It's violently loud.
I didn't hear it.
Anyway, gosh, I lost my thought. Y'all go ahead. I'll come back in a second.
Well, by the way, you're just lucky, Doug. The yard men didn't come to blow off the leaves again.
Yeah,
I need to build a palatial studio here, guys. I look at that Georgia and Alabama game. That's what I was going to talk about. I want to praise Alabama. Man, they are looking like our worst nightmares, Duff. Are they? Is Saban going to retire and it amount to not even a hiccup for the mighty Crimson Tide? Well, that would be the book on it right now. There's a lot of ball to play, but man, that was huge for Alabama to get, a leg up on. It's kind of like you buy yourself a mulligan winning that one because you can have 2 losses. Georgia's fine. There's not many teams, maybe none left that can. I think Texas or Tennessee could give Georgia trouble on a given day. But that ESPN reported, no surprise, that Alabama Georgia game, so compelling, was the highest, most watched regular season ESPN game since 2017. Correct.
Well, to coin the phrase that Mark Twain made popular, the news of their demise was greatly exaggerated.
Yeah,
no doubt.
And let me tell you, when you underestimate Alabama, you're looking up at a 28-0 scoreboard. Now, to Georgia's credit, they hung in. They
a lot of heart,
back.
man. Heart.
That's Kirby. That's Kirby, right? I mean, he has those guys. To use another movie phrase, that he has their mind right. Even being down, they stormed back. And let me tell you something. When they went ahead, Alabama fans look like somebody just kicked their dog in front of them.
Yeah.
But that kid, holy mackerel, 17-year-old receiver. Are you kidding me? The composure, the contorting, that he did. And by the way, I like y'all's receivers too. I watched every minute of all three of those primetime SEC West games, old-fashioned SEC West games. And y'all's receivers are exactly the same.
Coming along. You know what? Yeah. I'll say it, Duff. Auburn is the best 2 and 3 team in America.
Yeah. Hey, let me throw some numbers at y'all. Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football, was on the show yesterday, and I always love having Tony on. He said the TV executives will tell you if you get 4 million people watching a college football game, that's a big deal. The Georgia-Alabama game at Bryant-Denny Stadium last week, 12 million. Okay,
unbelievable.
That's really good. So, in the interest is there, and I will say this about Auburn. Auburn is they're learning that they're going to have to learn how to win again. That's the thing people don't realize. But the talent,
go with the youth movement. Put guys in there that don't have habits of losing.
Correct.
Yeah, that's right. And that's something that it is so frustrating if you're an Auburn fan right now. But they're not getting blown out 42-0. They are in those games, and give the other teams credit for beating Auburn. But if Auburn can cut down on mistakes, their record probably would be different. But your record's what it is.
Well,
guys,
it frustrated me. I know it frustrated the hell out of y'all. When Jarquez had that long run, you literally could see Auburn's line had Oklahoma on their heels. And I just don't understand. I don't know if it was a Hugh Freeze didn't really make the point to Peyton Thorne, but I get you have run-pass options. But what's the old saying? It's a Ron White. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yep.
And if he tucks the ball on those two plays, hands off, doesn't pass, which stops the clock, which stops the momentum. I mean, Auburn was going downhill and had an 11-point lead. There's no reason y'all should have lost that ball game.
What's maddening is, and Greg McElroy did a fine job on Jock in Birmingham breaking this down to our humiliation. But he was right, McElroy was, that it was only a week before, this is almost coaching malpractice, that on Auburn's fourth down touchdown throw, that was a slant, exact same RPO that scored a touchdown. So obviously Brent Venables is going to practice the hell out of that play by Auburn. They had it. They had a blitz bluff by their linebacker set up. Peyton called the right RPO. He made the right call. The problem is it was exactly what Oklahoma was expecting. They dropped that linebacker out and pick six. And there are games where you need to go all Mark Stoops and throw on third or fourth down. Hey, Val.
Well, one thing, guys, I'm going to throw something at y'all. UCF, Central Florida, and Gus are going to the Swamp tomorrow to play Florida. They're still celebrating their national championship in 2017 when they beat Auburn in the Peach Bowl. Central Florida, they want this win badly. If you're a Florida fan right now and you're ready for Billy Napier and this experiment for the plug to be pulled and for it to be over, I mean, you can't pull against your beloved Gators. And Brendan, your thoughts on this would be much appreciated.
And they had life against Texas A&M. Against Mississippi State. They had life. I mean, I had Florida. That was one of my big bets. And they control that ball game. I thought they did well.
Yeah, I took Florida.
On the road.
If you're a Florida fan, Brendan, what do you want to happen tomorrow in the Swamp? You and the GatorBaitMedia.com people, you're what do you want?
Well, I don't think you want ever your team to lose.
Correct.
I don't think that's something that you ever pull for, but at the same time, and it's certainly if you live in Florida, you don't want it's bragging rights in the state of Florida means something. So you certainly don't want to go start, handing it out to the Knights, which is not something that has ever been a norm. Do you want it to? Look what happened when you let Kentucky out of the bag. So I think now, you never want that. But at the same time, Is it the final nail in the coffin that you're looking for with Billy? Do you want Billy to finally take that sort of, one more shot to kind of put him out? I think no. I think you're pulling for him to win. I think it's a home game in the Swamp. I think if you don't pull him, if you're a Gator fan, you're not pulling for that, then you're not a Gator fan.
Well, yeah. and look, Colorado showed y'all the game plan because holy mackerel, they dismantled UCF. And Florida certainly has better talent, even if you discount Shedeur, has way more talent than Colorado does. I think this is a very winnable game by the Gators. Absolutely. And look,
they should win.
Absolutely. And they're getting points. That's a crazy thing. They're getting 2.5 at home. I'd take that all day long.
All day.
Hey, Brendan, I've got a question because Doug asked me to ask you this. Will Gus Malzahn wear a sweater vest in the Swamp, which is one of the hottest places in football, or will he be wearing a tank top? I don't know.
It depends on the material, If it's breathable, I think that's the same thing. Sweater vest, tank top. I can feel like a really good breathable sweater vest is going to open up opportunities for like pockets. Yeah, just like a caddy would.
Brendan, I mean, this
things you think about when you're a videographer, huh?
Gus.
No, it does. All right, guys, we've bounced around the SEC. You look at these. There's a lot of teams that are off this weekend. Okay, so Frank,
LSU.
Anybody want to give me your 3 picks? Because we got a lot of people out there that like to bet, and I always like to say, if you lose in the pick'em contest, you have to watch reruns of Mama's Family. But we just got a couple of minutes, so let's make it quick.
Well, first one that jumps off for me, I like Duke getting 9.5 from Georgia Tech. I was on Georgia Tech early in the year. They've underwhelmed me. And Duke played coming back and beating North Carolina. So it's here in Atlanta. Georgia Tech really has no home field advantage. I like Duke getting 9.5.
Doug, you got any little gems for us?
That's the Frank Duffy lock.
No,
that's not the lock.
Not a lock, but take the 9.5.
I've been a little hot this year, but let me tell you how you do that. You make 3 or 4 picks, and then a week later, you only talk about the one that you hit on. That's how that works.
That's right.
Listeners at home, do not take this advice and go to your favorite book service.
Anything.
But I think I mentioned it earlier. I think Lane Kiffin is mad. His team's going to be mad. I think they're going to go into South Carolina and unleash that offense again and win pretty big. And if Georgia and Alabama were playing better opponents this week, I would worry about them because that's such an emotional game. You expend so much energy, physicality, and emotion. But I think Alabama will be just fine in Nashville before that, 20,000 fans. And I think Georgia's going to be back to the wall. Georgia cannot afford to lose to Auburn if what they've got left on their schedule.
Yeah, guys, look, we've run out of time. I wish we had more time, but look,
I think South Carolina is going to be too much.
Do you?
I think it'll be tight early, but I think Ole Miss is going to run away from it.
I don't know.
And by the way, guys, got a bad
That's your coach, Brendan.
That's the lock.
That's your coach, Kiffin.
By the way,
I want him to get him out. So,
by the way, you guys are not going to believe this. The federal airspace is not allowing us to fly up those planes. I just got the news when I was on the phone with them.
Unbelievable.
We're going to have to truck it up.
Oh yeah,
get the mules ready.
Listen. We've dealt with this a lot in Florida, to be honest.
Crazy.
Especially getting stuff down south when there's hurricanes down. Outside of Miami, down there in the Keys. We've dealt with a lot of that down the barrier islands, and we've seen them in Ocala, planes stacked up with stuff you can't get down there because you can't fly at certain times, can't fly at, can't find pilots that have the certain.
Well,
Rob, real quick.
Common issue. It sucks that people don't understand.
Prayers for all the people that are affected by this, especially Tennessee and North Carolina. Rob, before we get out of here, I get out of here anyway. There is a little minor controversy brewing on the Loveliest Village because Deuce Knight finally, this elite 5-star quarterback, 4-star in some services out of Mississippi, committed to Auburn despite our struggles on the field. He's going to need some polishing, but with that first name, he's got to wear number 2. And officially, the Cam Newton number 2 jersey, hold on, has not been retired yet. That has not been retired yet. So, and the kid has said Cam Newton has been his hero forever. But so I want to see Cam Newton go visit the kid in Auburn and say, I don't need to retire it for 3 more years. You can wear it for 3 more years.
I love that as a closing line. Hey, guys, great show today.
15 should never be worn in Florida. 2 should never be worn in Auburn. And if they put number 9 on somebody's back at LSU, I'm coming out of the freaking stands myself.
Hey, guys, this is an awesome show. We'll be back Monday morning. Everybody have a great weekend. We live in the greatest country in the history of the world. Go out and bless others and make great things happen and find excuses to win. See you Monday morning. Have a great weekend, everybody.
In a perfect world, you'd set a health goal and results would happen overnight. In this world, the real world, it takes time, dedication, and the right support to achieve your best self. The Vitamin Shop's health enthusiasts are here to make sure you're not wasting a single moment on the wrong supplements. From the highest quality sports nutrition and superfoods to the most sought after trends, you'll find a huge variety of science-backed solutions for every goal. And the people to help guide you along the path to greatness.
Unbelievably, every 2 minutes in our communities, a child is either bought or sold for sex. I am Ari Dickey, board member for the Nashville Anti-Human Trafficking Coalition. Join me and millions of others in our fight against human trafficking and for its victims by helping to educate the most vulnerable among us, our middle and high school students. Go to nhtcoalition.org, become a partner, and help keep our families safe, because none of God's children are for sale.